Morning, my loves. How are we? I hope we're all well. Hope you had a lovely bank holiday weekend. Marvellous weather. Good heavens above, that was tremendous. Right, let's get ourselves up to speed. We've got Ask Me Anything Day to Day. Let's get that up going there. Let's turn it down. Oh, although the elephants are crashing upstairs. Might be a bit of crashing. 2 3-year-olds have taken to jumping off the bed today, I think. Ah, here we go. Whoop, up, Ron. Morning, let's see who's in. So, Katie, morning. Anna, Lynn, Alan, morning, my loves. Ian, hello, my love. Pamela, morning. Lee, Arizona, come on. Maxine, George, Michelle, Maddie, Sharon, my loves. Aim, Lauren, how you doing, my love? Marion, bonjour. Laura, Lara, guten Tag. Actually, I presume that. Are you in? Leah. And then he said, morning, my love. How are you, Sue? Great to see Victoria, Mel, MJB, gorgeous. Michelle, lovely. Right, let's questions. Let's see what we got. Now, thank you for the questions. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to rattle through them as they are. Actually, somebody sent me a nice note. Where's that note? Hang on. Here we go. We've got a new listener, a new person joining us all the way from, here we go, where are you? You are from, you know where you're from, Isabel, Ottawa, Ontario. I mean, it's virtually down the road. Hello, my love. And of course, we've got the young lady from all the way from Australia as well, which is tremendous. Look at us taking over the world. I love that. So here we go. Right, fire away. Questions. Amy, morning, my love. Hi, Anton. What tips could you give for keeping up stamina in the Jive? Oh, the Jive. The thing about the Jive, and hair's flopping, oh, do me head in. Oh, wispy bits. Now, the thing about the Jive, of course, is that when we used to dance competitions 1,000 years ago and do Latin competitions 2,000 years ago, Jive was always the final dance. So you'd start off with a cha-cha, then you might do a rumba and then a samba and a paso doble, and then you finish on the Jive. Yeah, but of course you're knackered by then, so it was always tricky. So the Jive, you try to find ways of not faking it. I don't mean faking it, but the energy was everything. So if you can do an individual Jive just without all the other dances and the hours of competition, it's a piece of cake, really. When you're at the end of your day and the last thing you do is Jive, and in your head you're going, right, it's all on this. One, you have to breathe well, but two, the other thing to do is what you used to call high knees. So everything, the knees would be going high, and so the more you can go up rather than down, which essentially is good technique. This is not a trick really, it's good technique. The more you go up in Jive, the easier it is. So do you remember we talked about the kick and the retraction of the kick? The ball change, kick, ball change, kick, ball change. Now you'll see there that I'm hitting it down. So I'm going kick, ball change, kick, ball change. It feels quite heavy, and every time I hit that part there, I feel I've got to drag myself out of it. Kick, ball change. This is wrong. So what you need to do is that thing they call retraction on Strictly Come Dance. They use that expression a lot. I think it's the only one they know. But it is true. And what you have to do is that you have to sort of, it's as though you're putting your finger in something like hot water. Oh, it's a bit hot. Oh, it's a bit hot. So you go, da, and you really want that retraction. So you go, ya, ba, da, ya, ba, da, ya, ba, da, ya, and then you get this little jump, ra, ba, da, ya, ba, da, ya, ba, da. And with the Jive, that's it. The more, in effect, you can stay off the ground, the easier the Jive is. I know, it's counterintuitive really, but it's absolutely true. The more you hit Jive low, this is hard. Hard. So really, that's the way of keeping your stamina. One, got to be in decent shape anyway, but two, they're good technique on those sorts of things. Aya, ba, ba, aya, da, da. Just the Jive. Aya, da, da, aya, da, da, aya, da, da. Those things. Up, and then the Jive isn't so hard. although I'm out of breath. First one in the morning though. Lauren, hello my darling. I feel like I struggle to get hip action in the rumba. Does it actually come from the legs rather than moving your hips? Strangely, I find it much easier to be able to get hip action in the samba. Well done you. Well, the thing about the hip action in rumba is because you've got so much time, you feel like you've got to do so much more. You might be taking too larger steps. If your step gets too wide, it's difficult to do a hip action from here because my feet are so far apart. So I really just want to have my feet comfortably apart that I still have room for my hip to move. Do the hips come from the leg action? Everything comes from the feet, essentially, really. So if I just do a forward walk here like this, see how my hips are turning, I'm sort of rotating my hip here like this, because I'm pressing out of my back foot here. And then as I release that knee, the hip swings back into position here. A yum, and I'm in this position here. So, and then I just go forward and repeat the process again with a little rotation, and the hip rotates back in again, and then I go again like this. So everything works from the feet into the body, really. So everything works out of here, and then I start to isolate rib cages, and I start to get some movement through rib cages. That's much more of an isolated thing, but the feet come into the body, and then it's the feet that motivate everything, really. Everything starts with the floor, my love, and we go from there. It's the only bit we got in contact with, the floor, is with our feet, unless you're having a bad day. And it's just all of us lying there. And then it works up through the body. So check that your feet aren't too far apart, so you get into slightly too wide a position here. In an effort to make a dramatic position here, sometimes we'll make a dramatic position from here, but I'm quite split in weight here. My feet are quite far apart. This makes it difficult for me to get a hip action. So this is normally a position here, and then I'll be doing something dramatic, and then I'll just and then I'm back in. So they're separate sort of incidents, really. I hope that helps, Lauren. Let me know if it makes sense. Cynthia, morning, my love. I love the song Night Fever. Takes all sorts. By the Bee Gees. I was trying to imagine which dance goes with the beat. When I was dancing round the kitchen to it, would it be the samba? Young, ba-da-dee, da-da. You could do a samba. Yeah, samba would be the only thing. That sort of lilting beat. Yum, ba-da-rum, bum-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum-bum. That sort of beat. Da-da-ba-dum-ba-dum. It's all sort of samba. It gives you the samba feel. Tempo-wise, it'd be a bit slow for a samba. But you don't want to go too fast in samba. It's exhausting, quite frankly. So yeah, samba would be your best sort of position to find yourself in. With Night Fever, Cynthia, good luck with that. So, Alan, morning my love. Is there a standard from which leg you start from? I see them starting with the man's left foot forward, lady right foot back, or vice versa. Is there a rule that dictates which foot we start on? No, not really. If you take away any sort of what we call preparatory step, so you're starting just with the variation. Let's take a waltz, for example. If I want to start with a natural turn, boy's right foot, forward, side, together. Lady, right, left foot back, back, side, together. So that would be a natural turn. It depends which figure you want to start with. Sometimes people want to start with maybe, just take waltz for an example, a change step. Just a forward side together, back side together. You can start with the left one on that. And then you can go into the natural turn. So it depends which figure you want to start with, what you're going to start your dance with. Now, people do use a preparatory step before the 1, 2, 3, which is a very popular thing. All competitive dancers do that. Now, the purpose of the preparatory step is not to get yourself going as it has become. For some reason. I mean, you've got to start, you might as well just start with a normal step. But everybody's starting to do these big wind-ups here and then a big take-off into the natural turn, which is fine as long as you stay on time. The purpose of the preparatory step in the old days was to indicate to the lady, because you're dancing socially and we didn't have routines in those days, which foot you would be beginning with, you'd be starting with. So I would take hold of a lady, say, would you like to dance? She said, yes, I'd love to dance, thank you very much. You would take her onto the floor, here like this, you'd take hold of her like this, she'd stand in front of you. She has no idea what you're going to do, you probably have only asked her socially. So you might just rock from foot to foot, here, and then just walk off to go one. So the lady really understands, or really feels, oh, he's going to go off, oh, fair enough. Because I can feel body weight moving from foot to foot. Once upon a time, the gentleman used to just slightly rotate to the left, here, his left, her right, and it would just sort of allow the lady to understand that he's rocking onto his right foot. So she would rock onto her left foot, and then he would just step backwards here, very small step backwards, and then swing into the first step. Because it was deemed impolite just to career straight into a lady. You want to start walking all over the girl, do you? I mean, she's got lovely satin shoes on, a lovely frock. You felt walking up her ankle. So for the lady, it was a lovely way of just rocking forward and then going backwards here. Now, you wouldn't be sort of doing it to the dramatic effect that you'd be some sort of a lunge, that now the lady's being pulled on top of you. How sort of impolite. I mean, that's not polite society at all. So you're really just rocking here, so the lady just rocks forward and then she can go backwards comfortably on the correct foot, the one that you intended her to use first. That's the purpose of the preparatory step. It's become a thing now. Everyone starts with this massive preparatory and often dance out of time. But everything's determined by which variation you want to start with. Do you want to start with natural? You might want to start with the left turn. So start with the left foot. We're talking about walks here. Rumbas and cha-chas, for example, you would invariably start with the left foot, but even that has a preparatory step. 4, 1, 2, 3, just to help you with getting on time, we spoke about it the other day. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Do you remember all that? 4 and 1, 2, 3, cha-cha-cha. So sometimes people do things in order to help them to start, because starting can be difficult, certainly if you're not sort of au fait with the music. But there you are. That's a sort of massive answer to your question. I hope that was all right, Al. How are we going here? Valerie! Just found this link. Well done, my love. Liz, could you tell me which part of the body is used to sway, as in foxtrot or other dances? Does it come from the hips or the upper body? Well, again, it's a body sway. So when I'm swaying, I'm here. So the whole thing is going. I don't just. So it's not one of these things where I just what they used to call breaking aside. So I don't just break aside. I sway. So what it is, one side stays its natural length, and the other side slightly stretches a bit more. So I do this here, and I sway the other way. Now the purpose of sway is 1, to stay on balance, and 2, to add a sort of artistic effect. So I might be doing something for sort of beauty. So I'm in a stationary position here, and I have a little sway here like this as I rise, and the lady's head just goes out in a hover quartet, let's say, and off she goes here, and then I'll come back to neutral to move out of my position. So sway can be used for something artistic, but it's invariably used to balance. The more you move, the more you want to sway, but sway can't be a broken side. In foxtrot, you don't do a lot of rise and fall here because you're moving through, not like the waltz where we close our feet, so we have a peaked rise. So the sway is less, but you can add more of it, as I said, for dramatic effect, for sort of artistic interpretation. So the sway is a body sway. It comes from the body, and if I'm going to sway my sides here, because what I'm trying to do with the sway is I'm trying to indicate to the lady that while I'm going this way here, and my arms are here, which is the bit I'm holding it with. So if I just sort of sway my hips, it sort of could have sort of the wrong intention for the lady. She goes, oh, hello, it's one of those, is it? I understand. So, but what you must do is sway the body, and of course you will stretch up through the hips, and invariably you'll sway on your toes. So as you all go up, you won't sway, well, I'll say you won't. Invariably you won't sway flat. I'm sure there's an example of it somewhere, but you'll invariably sway up onto your toes. So you have this long line from your feet all up through your body out through the top of your head. And your head must continue the line of the spine, otherwise you end up with one of them moments. See? Sway. It's a fabulous thing, the old sway. And ladies, you're just mirroring the boys. That's all you're doing. Mirroring the sway that's in front of you. Bonjour Anton, Marion, comment ça va? Ça va bien, monsieur, madame. What is the most complicated variation in ballroom dance? Or in Latin dancing? In Latin dancing, there are tons of really, really complicated steps because they're sort of in the basic technique. There are some difficult things, not massively difficult, but once you start getting into choreography, then you're sort of doing spins on the spot and fast feet actions. So there's that sort of bit. You're separate, so it's always a little bit easier. Telly spins are different. Anything where you've got a funny timing, those are always difficult. Where you're close together and one person's got more steps than the other. Here, those things are difficult to get right, but that's a timing thing rather than a complicated step pattern. In ballroom dancing, I still maintain a 4-lay slip pivot done perfectly is a very, very difficult step. Double reverse spin's a difficult step because you're doing a turn on the spot and the lady has got entirely different steps to the man and one more count as well. So lady steps do this. You go back, heel turn, side, cross. Boys, you go, I'm going to do it this way for the boys. You go forward the left foot, you go forward, turn and lower. So completely different steps. That's difficult. But as long as you've got a good frame on that and you stand well, that can work. That can work. 4-lay slip pivot. Let me just show you this variation. We haven't done it. The 4-lay goes, we have done 4-lay actually. We did a 4-lay American smooth. Step, side, back for the boys. Now, the next bit, the slip pivot, has to go from here round to here. For the ladies, you go back, 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 back. And now what you have to do is you have to go from here, you have to go here, here, and then step backwards here. So you've got to start in an open position, in promenade, and you've got to finish closed, going backwards. So you start backwards in promenade, you finish backwards in closed position, having completed that much turn. This much turn. So I think that step is a remarkably difficult step to do it perfectly. Again, it's timing, but also you have similar steps, but they're different, and you have a huge amount of turns, so everything's got to be right about it. You've got to set it up properly, you've got to go in at the right angle in order to come out at the right angle, otherwise you end up in a situation where the lady spins off the front of your body, ends up under you. How many of you boys end up with a lady under your armpit? What are you doing down there? Well, that's where you led me. I didn't lead you down there, you weren't following. Yes, I was following, you weren't leading me. Familiar conversation? Yeah. So 4-lay slip pivot is a difficult step, I always think, Mary. There are various ways you can cheat on it. For example, go flatter in, and then you've only got a little bit of turn coming out, but that can have the propensity to take you across the room. Disaster. The more you curve the fall away here, the easier the last bit is. You can come back on yourself very slightly. Oh, I've seen a few ways of doing the 4-lay slip pivot. The technique suggests that you go down the room. Very difficult. Very difficult. Wendy, hello, my darling. When did we go from amateur to pro, and who inspired and encouraged you to follow your dream as a dancer? Well, it's sort of, when did I go from amateur to a pro? I can't really remember. I've been dancing with Erin for 23 years, and we started as amateurs, and then we turned professional, we ended up as pros. But not long after we started as amateurs, we were sort of what we would call full-time amateurs, really. So, not long after a few years of dancing together. So we were only dancing. So although we were still competing as amateurs, we were competing all over the world. We were flashing about all over, doing some teaching. Erin was sticking rhinestones on dresses. We were doing anything so that we could earn money in order to continue to travel and have lessons and practice and buy the gear, and so it was all of that. So we really were, it was. And to be honest with you, I can't remember what year it was, but it's been going for a long time. And my inspirations were. Well, just my inspiration, well, it's not a secret, my sort of inspiration, my hero really was Fred Astaire. He was my sort of, there you are, that's the man. In dancing, just people you'd never heard of really. Marcus and Karen Hilton were great inspirations, great teachers, great dancers, wonderful. Rich and Janet Glee, I mean, so many of them. Michael and Vicky Barr, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful teachers, and my teachers were always my inspiration really. That was always my inspiration. John Wood and Anne and Lewis at the time. Incredible dancers. But so, yeah. So through my career, my teachers were always a massive. Bob and Barbara Grover, really marvellous. I mean, just marvellous, just wonderful teachers. Bill and Sylvia Mitchell from my very young days, all the way through my sort of majority of my career, really. Wonderful, just wonderful. I had a great fortune of having incredible lessons with incredible people who were just a great inspiration, and I admired enormously. And so that was me really. Deborah, please bow when you're dancing the paso doble, and the lady swishes her skirt to lead into the cross step. Oh, the thing we did the other day. How high should the legs be to cross? And should this come from the hips? We did the separation the other day, do you remember? We did a pal, 2, 3, 4, low one first. And a pal, 2, 3, 4. A pal, 2, 3, 4. So now this just switch. Now this really is up to you. This is an artistic interpretation. You will bend from the hips. I don't want you to sway. You need to stay straight here. So really you get the legs up as far as you can. So you go and a ya and ya and ya. And the higher you bring the knees up, the more drama. You can do low knees if you want to, shaping the body. So it's really a bit of artistic interpretation there, Deborah. So you can style it as you like. Your skirt, you might have a skirt on, you might have a little skirt on. If you've got a little skirt on, you might just want to use your arms to do it here. You might be all dramatic through the arms. Oh, dogs are going again. So it depends how you want to style it, but the knee up, so breaking at the hip, so using this joint here. It's sort of difficult for it to, I don't think of using the hip action. So I'm not doing any sort of a swivelly thing where it's literally just knee. If I pick my knee up and put it down, I would almost just cross the line here. But I'm not doing this. So I'm not doing a little swivel where the hips are sort of working. Or mincing, as that's a fabulous demonstration of. Dorothy K. This is from Lorraine. Hello Lorraine, my love. Can you show how to do a rumba walk? Well, I can. So what I'm doing here with the right, I did a little bit of it earlier here. As I step onto my right, let's start on the right foot. My left foot is behind and my hip just rotates here. Now I'm starting to get an action. My body stays pretty neutral. This part of my body, here. This position here. Now as this gets to here, I now release the knee and then this sort of lets go of the hip to swing back into neutral position as the foot passes through here into the left foot here, and in the process repeats again. So I feel like a lot of the hip action and the rumba walk is done behind me. So it's all going on over here as I swing down here and I'm pushing this one. So all this area here, I feel like I'm working this part much more than anything at the front here. So I try to avoid doing anything sort of protruding. That is a demonstration of the rumble. So that's my thought. But my body is pretty neutral, my upper body. So my chest and shoulders I find are pretty neutral. All I'm doing is sort of, I'm doing it from a slightly more male perspective, actually. So I'm doing much more sort of dominant through the chest and I'm rotating the hips underneath, quite neutral through the shoulders. Because what I want to try and do is create twist, essentially, a torque through my body. It's like I've got a tea towel and I'm twisting it, and the more you twist it, the tighter it gets and the firmer it becomes. And that line through here for dramatic effect. And then when I release the hip, I can get some speed into the step. So the rumba isn't sort of done like this anymore. This sort of smooth rumba. Although I quite like that. because that sort of says to me the feel of the dance I want to do. This sort of dramatic effect in rumba, if you think of maybe a Giovanni or an Aliash, they're really sort of great at all that, and wham, and they go in. I'm talking from a male perspective now. So that is the rumba walk from the man. The lady is sort of, they're often going backwards, the lady, so they're doing walking backwards here. So for the principle remains the same though, going forward for the girls. Of course the girls, you've got heels on, so that already makes everything a bit more difficult and a bit more different. So you must just slide those feet across the ground here, and the more you can get this action in here, not taking your feet off the floor, the easier you'll find it. But think about the thing being back here rather than being over here. You'll find that one of the worst problems in rumba and cha-cha for celebrities on Strictly Come Dancing is the position of the hips. They're always a bit too far forward, like this. This is a disaster. So it's trying to get them to get their hips. I almost feel like you have this area here and in there, but you're not arching your back. So it's a very subtle way, but this is the killer, where everything is flat down the front here. Disaster. Disaster. Certainly can't turn me like that. Let me have a look. What's anything over here that I should know about? Let me have a look here. Does the Valerie? Does the front foot go straight or slight angle? I tend to. You're talking about rumba, I hope. Now, this depends on who you ask. Some people say the front foot goes forward, straight, the back leg turns out. Some people say that you're turning the foot out. It allows the hip to swing. When you're walking, I would suggest you leave the front foot straight, turn the back leg out, and then you front foot straight, turn the back leg out. When you're doing a check forward walk, for example, if I'm going forward, replace, back. This is a forward walking action, but I'm stopping it and I'm coming back. New York, same principle applies. I turn the foot out. Check. Because that acts like a brake. Thump and side. So I'd use that as a sort of premise moving forward. Saffron, hello my love. Front door. I have 2 left feet. Thanks, Sue. I hope you get cute for that. I didn't look at this earlier, did I? Who's at the front door? I don't know. I think it might be a delivery. Hang on, one more over here. Who's the most? Emily. Who? Oh, I'm the most patient person. Well, you're very kind. Thank you very much. I thought it was a question. Perfect. Well done that. Let's have a look over here. Now, Gillian. All right, last question. Gillian. I was wondering if you could explain if it is you or the production team who decides which dances you or your partner do from week to week on Strictly. I've always assumed it was a joint effort. And do you have full control over your musical selections each number? Now, I'm going to do this very briefly, but we'll come back to this. It is a bit of a joint effort, actually. The dances, it's because we don't want 12 rumbas one week, so you've got to mix it all up. And then whoever gets sort of eliminated, and then you see what you got left, and invariably you're going to be doing ballroom dance, Latin dance, ballroom dance, Latin dance, or speciality dance maybe. So an American Smooth would sort of be potentially linked to the ballroom sort of side, and maybe the salsa sort of linked to the Latin side. The musical choices. I have an idea of the type of song I'd like to use for the dance. Sometimes I give them actual suggestions. You give them the dance music that you want to dance to, and then they've got to see if they can clear it. They've got to see if it's been used recently, and you've sort of got to see as well what else we've got that week. So if you've come in with a song that's very, very similar to somebody else's song, but you were second, you might have to go, can't use that, have to use something else. So because we've been going for so long, it's become a bit of a, it used to be more of our decision years ago, but it's been going for so long now that I can't remember what I've danced to. I said, I'd like to use this song, and you've danced to it. Oh, right, fair enough. And so that's a great help, really. I like that. I said, this is the style of dance I want, the thing I'd like to do. What do you think? And then you've got to come up with concept ideas and how you want to set the thing. And so it becomes a massive production on Strictly Come Dancing. So it is a bit of a joint effort, really. And I think 90% of the time they get it right, we all get it right, and then sometimes you look back and you go, well, I wish I'd have chosen that, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. But you do, so you don't have a lot of time to test these things out. Now listen, thank you very much indeed. Brilliant today. Brilliant. I love this. I love it. We'll see you at 3 o'clock if you can make it for a bit of cardio. Ooh, cardio on a sunny day. It's going to be vile. Much love. See you in the morning. And look after yourself. Stay safe. Enjoy the sun. Come on, let's enjoy the sun. Bless you. Much love.